morning, good morning, good morning. What's going on? Yeah, welcome, Ruby, just showing up. Appreciate the early comers. Nice, actually, bro, we're a minute early today. I never thought I'd ever do that in my life, be early to something. But shout out to everyone that's pulling in. Make sure you repost the stream. Shout out to Ollie.run. We're about to be controversial today. I'm gonna say some wild shit, so just lock in, all right? But we're gonna be live in a minute. We're just waiting for the boys to come through, and then we'll get this show on the road, all right? All right, let's get this show on the road, ladies and gentlemen. I got the peoples with me. It's time. I said, I just tweeted out. I want Twitter beef today. I'm not joking. I'm on the smoke. We got tweets that we're gonna look at today, and I'm gonna bring it, bro. Full controversy. We was listening to Jay Dilla. Shout out to Jay Dilla if you know Jay Dilla, but full controversy is on the agenda today. That's it, bro. That's what we're doing. I woke up and chose violence, so I hope my co-host will join me in that stance today. But we got a few tweets that I'm gonna pull through. Actually, some news that dropped yesterday. People have been talking about it. Want to know how much it affects Ronin as well. But on top of that, some good news. Of course, we have the Ronin ecosystem directory, which is in the Ronin app essentially, the browser app. It looks cool. I said the other day that Immutable X looks good, like their gaming application or hub, whatever you want to call it. And then suddenly we have one here on Ronin, so those are good things. We'll take you through a tour of that. But yeah, today is all about smoke. But listen, if this is the first time tuning into the Ronin Radio, welcome. Make sure you're following us over on X. And if you want to join our intimate community, yes, we get so intimate, baby. That was weird. I don't know. But if you want to join the community, the link is in the bio right there for our Discord server. And yeah, man, subscribe to the YouTube channel. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, we are going to give away some more Ronkies. Shout out to Sushi Nobi. The rice farmers are coming real damn soon. But shout out to those legends that keep turning up every single show. We're keeping you right in tune, on par with where Ronin is going. And I'm gonna talk about where I think it actually is going. Because I think I'm pretty damn bullish right now after some of the things that I've heard. But either way, without further ado, let's get the peoples them on the stage. My boys, 1437 and Star. Good morning.
GM.
What's good? How we feeling? We both mokied up today. Even we need to send you some merch or something, bro. No, Bruce, send Demon some merch, bro. Like we gotta get that done. But Stock, your camera is like you're trying to give me epilepsy. Oh, can we get a live over the top of your current shirt? Like, can we get that happening?
It's not the day yet.
Okay,
the day will come
with Grand Arena maybe.
The day will come. Then we're gonna.
The day will come. Well, I think that's.
By the way, I don't know why your camera keeps skipping. Like,
who's this? Me?
Epilepsy. I'm getting it. Yeah.
It's happening for I don't know.
Everyone. Bro, what are you guys doing to me today?
What's going
your
on?
Cameras are going too, I think.
Yeah, Demon, your camera's going even.
So it might be maybe it's your connection, Gila, since you're hosting.
You know what? It actually might be.
I was messing with you. I was doing it myself, bro.
Okay. Well, welcome. Yeah, welcome. We're in the building. I told these lads before we started, I've got a few tweets that we're going to take a look at. We might get a little spicy today. I'm feeling it, caliente. But I think we should, I want to start with, the conversation of what went down yesterday on Woku Weekly. Shout out to the Moku community. They had G-Host through. We learned a little bit more about Grand Arena. I genuinely think Grand Arena is a novel application that will actually bring volume of users and volume in general to the Ronin network. I think it's actually it's going to be a big effect. Like, it's going to cause some waves. We learned a little bit about it. If you weren't there in the Moku Discord, then Grand Arena essentially is, the Mokis, the NFTs, right? They're essentially going to come to life. They're going to be alive. They're going to be their own AI entities, and they will compete in a game that is like, I forgot the name that they called it, like Queen something. There's like a game that it's based off of, where you're in an arena. There's 3 objectives. There's 3 different ways to win, and the first team to achieve one of those 3 objectives will win. One of the objectives is like straight combat, so you can like just destroy the other team. The other is like collecting items across the map, and if you collect a certain amount, you win the game. And then the other one is way. I don't know. I don't fucking know. But that's the basis of Grand Arena. You won't be playing it physically yourself. It will be your Moki that will do the playing. And then the layers that then are built from that are more like a fantasy sports like plugin. So you're gonna be able to like bet and place your faith in these different AI Mokis, and based on their performance, like earn some kind of points in a leaderboard system. So there's gonna be a lot of variables, a lot of fun. You'll actually be training those AI Mokis in certain ways, so they'll be better at certain objectives than other Mokis, and you really have to like fine tune and refine your Moki to do well. And then there are also going to be packs. So you open these packs and you'll have ownership of these cards that allow you to play these Mokis in your fantasy team. And every time that these packs are opened, if your Moki NFT is distributed in that pack, you will get a royalty distribution. So there's a lot here that is brand new to the industry. Honestly, having a lot of playtime in Tokyo Beast right now, I understand how well an auto battler can do, and also the decentralized meta of an auto battler is really cool. That will happen with Grand Arena too, but they're like two ends of the spectrum, right? Like for me, Tokyo Beast is like, okay, highest of quality development. Thank you, Stark, for like you saving my eyes. But like the highest quality development possible is Tokyo Beast. Like the graphics are fantastic, you know, the IP is cool, but like it's not really an IP play yet for me. Whereas like Moku and Grand Arena, we don't know yet what that engine, you know, and the game itself will physically look like. But I think the IP play is
Let me
strong.
chime in here real quick then.
They're like this. They're the
yeah, I
same
just
thing,
wanna-
but they're like different ends.
I just want to tell you first. Can you just check your mic, which one you're using? I'm not sure which mic you're using because you sound very different today. It's not my Chris Little Gila.
I know what you're talking about. It's definitely using the camera right now.
So I just want to make sure that you know you got the right mic on.
You took that long to tell me, bro?
Well, you know, I had to let you dig your own grave first, right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
We've got a big grave today because Stark's already fallen into it. I can see right now my Wi-Fi, I have 2 bars, bro. So I don't know what's going on today. But yeah,
Yeah, your camera keeps skipping. Maybe you want to like take it off and then put it back on while I talk about this. But yeah,
No,
I think
it happens for you
Tokyo
too. So
Beast-
it's
I don't know if you guys seen it, but Tokyo Beast made 1 million in inflows, like in revenue, in their first like 2 days of launch, which is crazy. Of course, that's when most of the people will be spending because there'll be a lot of people will be whaling. But that's amazing still, nonetheless. I hope that they will use some of that money and put it back into the game right away instead of like just taking profits, because I think they need to, right, to have a long sustaining game, or I can totally see this just like fizzle out in the next couple of weeks. As for Grand Arena, I think they got a great timing, like when they're coming out, that they can learn from Tokyo Beast and what they're doing.
yeah.
Right? Take all the good stuff and everything. I mean, I might actually get on a call with Bruce, to be honest, and like try to see where his head's at. Because I can see now that I've spent countless hours on Tokyo Beast already, like I'm sitting in the top 50 all day yesterday, just like chilling, not really spending much. I mean, all I spent on Tokyo Beast was $100. That's it.
Yeah.
I did not spend a single other dollar, like other than $100. And it's fun. It's good, and like you can get up there. And I know a lot of other people are whaling, but like outperforming and min-maxing, you know, that's the secret of Web3, right?
Yeah.
Just being better than the other person who's spending more than you, essentially, or performing better than what you have in front of you. Yeah, like I would like to see Grand Arena do very well. And I think it has, like, we can see that, you know, auto battlers, there's a market for this, man. This is the newest thing. Like, I know we got auto battlers from like 2019, was it? Or
Yeah, because Axie was an auto battler first.
Yeah, like auto chess. It started with auto chess and people, the auto battler craze. But I think this, like for crypto gaming and tokens and stuff, I think peak is auto battler, because you got to remember, a lot of people that you're trying to aim for crypto are whales who have a lot of money. They don't have time to play and train in the game. What they prefer to do is automation. They prefer to use their brain to succeed and their wallets to succeed, right?
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
have to make a game that is suitable for that, and that's what Tokyo Beast is, and I think that's what Grand Arena is gonna be too.
Yeah, but Grand Arena has this different play, bro. It's like the IP that, like, the story of Moki's has kind of been cultivated over the last year, and like with the card element is like proximity beasts. Essentially, that's literally what it is, and the royalty distribution though, right? Like yeah, in Tokyo Beasts, your NFT beast being used gets you some kind of kickback, right? But this is like pure royalties, right? This is you will make money from how popular your Moki is, right?
I mean,
So
it's the
that's
same in
like
Tokyo
huge.
Beast too, right? If someone uses your beast, you get revenue back. And
Yeah, but not the trading, because this is like you can trade the cards. Like you can't trade the proximity beasts, right? Like you can't switch them around, put them on an open market.
well, you can sell the beast on the market. So like if your beast is like one of your top beasts, you sell on the market, someone buys it from you, right? Then they get the revenue.
No, the NFT. But what I'm saying is the Grand Arena is gonna. So in Tokyo Beast, you have the NFT, then you have the proximity beast, right? The proximity beast you can do nothing with other than use it in game or put it into like a beast pod.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the only things you can do
Or
with the
delete
proximity
it.
beast.
Yeah.
Or delete it, right? Whereas Moki, you're gonna have the Moki NFT, then you're gonna have the Moki cards that come out of the packs, and then you're gonna have a marketplace for those the cards, sorry.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
the trading volume that happens, there'll be a royalty, a creator, like essentially a creator fee on that card if you
Yeah.
own the Moki.
See, that's interesting because maybe that's not the best idea to do that.
You think?
Because yeah, let's look at a game, the first ever game in the history, right, that did this online in their actual game was Artifact. You know what
Mhm.
Artifact is? That's the
No,
Valve
no.
card game that was made. That's the first ever game as well that had 3 lanes in a card game, right? Which then
Okay.
Marvel Snap made. Okay.
And then we're gonna see that with Project O as well. Yeah.
So when they did that in the cards, they were hot. Those cards trading on the market were hot. But at some point, right, there's a lot of cards being generated. It completely dilutes like the available cards, right? So
Uh-huh.
I think maybe it's okay. Plus, you gotta understand like the Web3 aspect and the Web2 aspect. You want to make it seamless, and when you can like trade the stuff online, it kind of confuses people too. I think that's the
Mhm.
part of Tokyo Beast that I do like is like the Web3 seems super seamless because it's just US dollar. What I do need to see from them is like I need them to what I do need to see is I need to see them use the USD to like buy back their token at some point and continuously do that. So maybe the cards is fine. Maybe you just limit it to the account that you have from the packs that you pull, and you can use those for battles, right? And then you
Yeah.
can
I mean,
dust
if you
them later.
don't, yeah, if you can't trade cards, your only avenue is to buy more packs. So I think for the
Yeah.
company, that's
Exactly.
better revenue.
For the game, the loop, right? And then that revenue that comes in, you can then use that for like more funding of tournaments, right?
Yeah.
Or buying back your token. And then the NFTs still retain high value because again, they get rev share.
Mhm, mhm.
Maybe
I'm actually
it is
interested
better.
to see how Tokyo Beast lean into the aspects that Grand Arena is already talking about, like having, like this sports commentary with the Mokis. The thing about the Mokis that is absolutely a separator is, of course, they are AI, right? So there's going to be some kind of model in which one you can communicate with, like an LLM that you can actually talk to. So if it's your Moki, you can communicate with it. Then you get this content medium that comes out of that where you can like interview your Moki before the match of the day and like post match of the day and kind of ask it what it thought went well and all those things. And then you're training it in a different manner, which is like mod packs, right? But the training is I think there's going to be a bit of a more of an intimate play there where people's attachment to the IP of Mokis will grow stronger quicker than you'll see in Tokyo Beast for sure. So, but nonetheless, both very excited. Like Tokyo Beast for now is fucking it's S tier to use their ranking system. It is S tier. And if you want to get involved in Tokyo Beast today in the Moses Discord, I think the boy Stark is getting involved today. So we're going to be doing some like onboarding, but teaching you how to really play the game. Like we said, Steven's spent like $100 in the game already, but he's already top 50 in the whole competitive arena, which with 300,000 application downloads and the number one mobile app in Japan right now, which is not easy to do because they play mobile games for real over there. Being top 50 is no small feat. It's probably harder to be top 50 in Tokyo Beast right now than it is to be top 50 in something like Axie Origins and stuff like that. If you talk about like how many players are actually competing. So yeah, if you want to get involved today, join the Moses Discord. We're going to be talking a lot about Tokyo Beast in the voice channels and stuff like that. But it's cool. Man said immutable radio. Fuck no, bro. Fuck no. We taking real product. Like we're at the stage of this industry where we have to look at the best product and understand what's good about it so that we can actually be wise to good products when it comes to Ronin. Like I'm going to talk about the Woku Wednesday conversation in a moment. And one thing that was said by Jihos in there was he's actually happy that the Ronin community is getting smarter and wiser, and that we're not just blindly kind of like following anything that happens on Ronin. Like things have happened on Ronin over the last few weeks and they've not performed well in terms of like mints and stuff like that, and it's because people are looking at it like, okay, but like why? We've kind of done that faith play where it's just like, okay, it's a Ronin game, we're going to support it, we hope it does well, but now we're kind of looking at things subjectively and being like, okay, well, is this actually a good product? Like why would we put our money here? Which are good things to do. So, but shout out to you, Robocop. I know you're trolling, but it is what it is. So none of you heard much from the conversation yesterday. You said you were there at the end, Theban, right? So
I was there for like maybe 20 minutes at the end there, or 30 minutes, something like that. Yeah, I had to go out, but I didn't catch the start of it.
Yeah. So you heard about the San Francisco office for Ronin.
I heard that part, yeah.
So Sky Mavis looking to have a San Francisco office. Bullish for US Ronin, for sure. Kind of interesting why, like in this age I always think like, why do you need offices? Like, is this a tax thing? Is this like what?
I think it's more so a tech thing, maybe.
Well, it is in like the heart of tech right now.
Yeah, like
networking and presence.
Mm-hmm. I think they need some kind of legitimacy. Like, what are you more likely to, invest in a project that's based out of this, SF, or like based out of Vietnam or Singapore or something like that, right?
When I tell people that the company that I kind of closely work with is based out of Vietnam, they always give me like a little side eye, like, Vietnam, like, I don't know, welcome to Western world where the ignorance of Eastern culture and just the East in general is quite rife. So that does make sense. Yeah, I get that. I mean, San Francisco is the hub of a lot of AI development too. So whether there's something there, also GDC happens there every year. That would be cool to get like these people that all fly in for games developers conference to have like the ability to commute to a home office that is Ronin. So I see some value there, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of out the blue, right?
It's also, it seems very costly. So
yeah,
but that's why the why. I think that's why the why is the conversation to have, because
maybe maybe it's not as big as like the Vietnam. I don't know if you've been to the Vietnam office, bro. That office is massive. Holy shit, it's massive. I'm like, whoa, do we need all this? Like, that's how my first that's how big it was. So, but SF, like, it could just be like a small office, right? So
yeah. All right. Before we get into controversy, we will talk about the new application, right? The ecosystem application. I'm going to put it on the screen for us to look at. This might be your first time looking at it, guys, on the stream, and also my co-host here. But this is the ecosystem now, so you have some point of navigation for anything that exists on Ronin. You can go ahead and like start bookmarking this and maybe open up. But everything is here: Ronin Wallet, Katana, App.Axie, Ronin Market. You keep going down, you'll find anything that you could need across the Ronin ecosystem. And I think this is a good plugin because I was looking at other ecosystems and they have this, like all the ecosystems that you go to have like a directory point where you can access all of the applications, no matter what the application is.
I see a vote button. Is it so that the community can just upvote and the most relevant ones are at the top?
Oh, I didn't even clock that, but yeah. Let's do a vote. Oh, you
Axie
vote
score?
on chain.
Axie
You
score.
vote on
relevant?
chain, bro. Okay. I don't know why I'm doing this because we're not getting paid for it, but go and vote for Moku, bro. Let's bring it to the top. Grand Arena's on the way. Grand Arena is on the way, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, there's a vote system. Moku already has 8 votes, so why it's here in this position, I don't know. If we go back to page 1, some of the stuff has like 1 vote and whatnot. So really, we should be seeing stuff come up here. The other button that's interesting here is list your DApp, right? So list your decentralized application, and there is a GitHub now for the implementation of that.
Where is this?
So-
Is this on is it on the Ronin Chain website, like app.roninchain.com?
So I located it through Twitter from the tweet. So Ronin made a tweet like directing you to originally
Yeah,
goes to the
it's-
GitHub page, and then you can go to
Okay, so but otherwise it's
ecosystem.
it's the homepage of the Ronin Chain website. So like where Katana
Yeah.
is, where the bridge is, where Ronin's taking. And then you can
Yeah,
access
yeah,
all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
So you go to that, and it's right there.
So on
But yeah,
my
they-
end, Moku's rank 1 now with 8 votes.
Okay.
It's
Maybe
like
I'll
it's,
update and
it's
then
properly
refresh.
ordered.
Oh yes,
There you go.
there it is. Okay, well, good stuff. Yeah, that's actually a good bit of tech, good bit of governance, Steven, your favorite. It's happening, bro. It's happening in front of your eyes.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm not seeing what's the weight of the votes, because if it's someone could just if it's just
Hey, yeah, welcome back to that conversation too. But
many-
but yeah, I mean, this is needed.
it's gone up to 16.
Arena of Faith
Oh,
is still on
Your
Ronin.
vote,
I did
your
not know
vote,
that.
hover over the number, because I voted and went up to 16. So it says your vote, we're the 2 people that have voted for Moku so far, because it says total votes 2. Your vote will have different scores based on your voting power. Click to learn more.
Ooh, I got 8 power. Woohoo! You got 8 power too, Stark, right?
Yeah. I think I
Okay.
should have more power than you, but that's
Yeah.
maybe it's
Yeah,
just because you
boy.
have one. Maybe it's just because you have 1 Mystic Axie, and that counts the same as 2,000.
True. But yeah, no, this is a good implementation. Actually, you know what? I'm going to spend some time today going through all the applications and kind of upvoting the ones I do think we should have some vision on. So maybe you guys should do the same.
It does say click to learn more, and then nothing happens when you click on it.
Really? Wait, where?
So hover over the green number 8, and then it says click to learn more, and nothing happens when you click.
Yeah, nothing happens. Oh, okay. Maybe it means like click this because it will take you to it takes you to the link of whatever the application is. So maybe
Yeah,
I mean.
yeah, but it should be more about anyways.
Anyway, but this is a great implementation. I'm glad that it's here. Shout out to the team for shipping this, but these are small victories. Got to celebrate them. Now time for controversy. So we're gonna go back. Let's put us back. We're gonna go back. I got a few bookmark tweets that I want to look at. One of them, oh my, okay. So this conversation scared me a little bit when I first read it, but I'm not so scared now. But I don't have the tech understanding to know if it's as serious as I initially thought. So Kagi tweeted this out yesterday saying Ronin will not be going to AVAX. When I read that sentence, I was like, what do you even fucking mean, bro? Like, what do you mean? They have no need to do that. IMX, on the other hand, can join the useless AVAX L1s alongside Beam and Gun. So I'd been hearing conversation, and this Carl Wilson was actually the driver of the conversation of saying that Ronin would be better as like being similar to something like Beam. Now, to understand what Beam is, you'd have to give a shit. They're actually live in a space right now. Don't join it. But it was in Hantao's replies. If we go down to the post that we were talking about the last show on people's perception on Ronin outside of Ronin, this is it. Kyle Wilson here. Look, well, to be fair, nobody should be comparing at layer 2s to AVAX. Base is fair game because it's L2 using Optimism tech stack. AVAX is basically a 0 layer that's far superior to any layer 2, in my opinion. Ronin should pivot to being like Beam and having multiple options for games, in my opinion. Then Hantao responded, what does being Beam mean? I actually thought that too. And he said they have multiple tech stacks to offer games, i.e. ZK EVM and AVAX, while being a publisher basically with multiple products that could be revenue generators long term. Lots of unique benefits, in my opinion. So I still think that this is the horrible dog shit take, but like I was kind of like, okay, well, I understand it a little bit here. But then I saw this post and I was like, breaking, Polygon is deprecating ZK EVM, meaning Immutable and Ronin that uses ZK EVM might have to move away to something like an AVAX layer 1. Huge shakeup for Web3 gaming. Now, I don't know how legitimate this is, right? Because then you go to the comments and you see Orly, who is an Aussie who's actually works at growth at Immutable, as it says in his bio. He made a statement saying Immutable will not be impacted by the deprecation of Polygon ZK EVM. And I never saw anything on towards of like a Ronin response other than what Kagi basically said, right? So I was like, okay, is this real? Like, would Ronin be damaged by a deprecated ZK EVM? Because of course it was part of what we utilized to go to an open network. So I wanted more on this, to be honest, and I haven't been given that as of right now. So I wanted to bring it up on the show today to kind of hear some of your guys' thoughts and even the chat, right? If you guys know anything on towards with this.
Before that, I would like you to check your chat.
No, I can see it. They don't see it on the endpoint of the stream. They don't see it. It's just us that can see that. Yeah.
Let me see. I'll take a look. Because even your voice is skipping, so I assume that.
Yo, Gili didn't see Alex's tweet. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. We're looking at it now.
I thought it was on my end.
Yeah. Guys, in the chat, let us know right now. Is there like a lot of like cutting out from our voices, from our cameras? Is there a lot of that?
So for me, it's like your cameras, both of your cameras, and the screen is like cutting every 5 to 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's really annoying. I'm like, when I started the show, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" The thing is, I can't refresh. I think it would end the stream.
Okay.
Well,
we can try. You guys stay here. Okay. Don't leave anywhere.
It might cut off. Anyways, but
if it cuts off, way we did a rook. Someone said crystal clear.
So
on YouTube, audio is clear, no issues.
Yeah, but blurp said.
Yeah, but blurp said yeah to something else. Not seeing any issues on iOS. So it's just, like this is what I'm saying. It's just us.
Yeah, that's okay. Then we can bear through it.
We're gonna have to have some resilience. All right, we've expanded. Psychout actually made a tweet. We're gonna come back to this. Wait, we're gonna come back to this. I'm going to share this tab instead. Let's go to Psychout. So Psychout made a tweet. For those who are wondering, Ronin is an L1 built using EVM, so this does not impact us. Ron will remain an independent L1 until there is a clear economic alignment to join Ethereum. Games building on Ronin will be able to create their own Ronin L2 shortly. More on that later. What? Okay, this took a good turn.
That was...
We have had an experimental Ronin ZK EVM chain running for some time to test its viability. Now with ZK EVM being deprecated, that will no longer be a priority. We will continue to test out all viable scaling solutions and enhance Ronin with whichever tech is the strongest. To be clear, this relates to ZK EVM only. We still have good relationships with Polygon, and I've known Sandeep personally for 6+ years. As AgLayer continues to grow, I expect to connect to Ronin.
I'm a bit of a noob with all of this, but why does Polygon making a decision affect, like, what does it mean if Polygon is deciding to deprecate something? Why does that mean that it's not available on Ethereum anymore? Like, why does it affect us? Because Polygon is another chain.
Because we were going to use the same tech.
Yeah, they were going to use the same tech.
Yeah, so like, for example, Ronin
the ZK
Realms,
EVMs,
right? We're going to have pretty much their own servers, their own, like they can have their own ecosystem essentially, right? That was the goal to do with Ronin. So now like they have to use a different kind of tech to be able to do that. I assume.
Yeah.
I didn't really look into this yet. I actually haven't seen these tweets at all, but that's what I'm thinking is going on right now.
Yeah. So the obviously they're all scaling solutions, right? It's to allow more transactions, but we're in a period of time where like we don't have the volume anyway, so it don't really matter right now. But it was for future avenues of scalability, for the network, and they're talking about the ag layer, which I think is the reason they're deprecating ZK EVM, because what has happened is Sandeep, the CEO of Polygon, is obviously going down this avenue, right? It says here, we will deprecate Polygon ZK EVM next year. Polygon Razor focus is going to be Polygon POS, proof of stake, and ag layer, nothing else. Polygon POS will focus on stablecoin payments and RWAs, while ag layer will focus on building a trustless internet of blockchains. So if we look at ag layer, aggregating all of Web3, the cross-chain settlement layer connecting liquidity and users of any blockchain for fast, low-cost interoperability and growth. So for my fucking wonky brain, I don't directly understand exactly what, is better about ag layer than going with the ZK EVM approach. But this seems to be what people are pivoting towards, which means that the tech must just be inherently better, right? So this is what sparked this kind of fear of, okay, if ZK EVM is deprecating and Ronin was planning on using ZK EVM, is this going to affect Ronin's development? And PsychOut clearly nipped that in the bud by saying, we will focus, if that means focusing on ag layer 2, then yeah, that's something that we'll probably utilize. So you can rest assured it's not as bearish as one might have thought. Thank you so much to Carl Wilson for driving some fear for your engagement benefit. But yeah, not true. Not true. More controversy though we do have. I'm going to pull some other stuff up. I saw this tweet, right? It came on my tee up. I'm going to put it up. I want Ronin to win in a way that Ronin creators should win too. I'm seeing more of them shifting their focus on other chains because they are rewarded fairly. Back in Axie days, we were more than happy to create content for Axie. The reward that we got was more followers and impressions. Now that is not happening anymore. I've posted a few gaming updates across all games on Ronin, and even the games itself didn't even support it. Baffling. Reality check, no one wants to talk about Ronin games outside the Ronin echo chamber. Changes should be made. What do you guys think of it, bro? Because we're shifting focus as well. Like I'm shifting focus to look at things outside of Ronin to really gain a knowledge of where we're at in the industry. Right.
I feel like there's one valid point there, which is like when I think it's unacceptable if people are tweeting about your game and you don't have someone like at least liking and retweeting. That's the bare minimum, and I've seen it happen to myself too with a lot of games where you're just like lots of people posting stuff like that. That's like the minimum type of support. So if someone's making a unpaid video about your game or something, like, yeah, if G-Host can find the time when he was running the Axie Infinity page to be like following 1,000 people and liking every single post and every single thing, and just gotta, so that side of it. For the rest, I don't know, because people are the specific sentence about shifting their focus on other changes. And the wording rewarded fairly. It's like, what chain are we talking about? Is it what people are doing with virtuals and stuff like that, and just playing other games and playing other things? Or because the way, if you word it like that, you make it sound like the chain is paying you, whereas it's just just min-maxing opportunities. You're just min-maxing opportunities, which has happened on Ronin too, and it moves around. I don't know. What do you think, Stephen?
Yeah, I missed the first half of that because I was talking to my daughter, trying to convince her to go say good morning to her grandparents. So what was that? So she was like, I can continue on with the conversation. So
she's just getting a wave of anxiety. She needed a pep talk from her dad. Just be like,
this is sweet. Talking about, you can take it, Stark, right?
Oh yeah, just a tweet about like Ronin creators starting to look on other chains for rewards or like getting paid, getting opportunities, other things. I think it's I don't know. I don't think a lot of creators are like getting paid big bucks by other chains. I think it's just
Okay, so let's talk about this. I love this topic actually.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. All right, we're gonna go deep in this one. Okay.
let's fucking go.
Okay, so we all know like this comes back from fuck off. I
Fuck.
hate that. I hate that
Yeah.
one so much. Okay. In 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, like Ronan was fucking king of gaming.
Yeah.
Right? Absolute king, undisputed, right? I think till now it still is, but you know, it's getting closer. A lot of what's happening right now and a lot of what Sky Mavis planned was from 2021 pre-hack, right? They had this insane war chest from Axie, right? All their money was for Axie pretty much. And they lost what, $600 million. It happens, right? With the hack. They had planned out all this shit properly. Now, when that happens, now you have to pivot, right? So 2022, 2023, we had a very sustainable economy through the games that we had. At that time, they weren't really planning on making, you know, an MMO because they wanted to just like think that Origins was gonna be their hit piece, right? Like their flagship game. And then ended up that they're like, okay, we gotta pivot from this. We don't see this sustaining long term. So when they pivoted from there, they kind of like iced everything out, right? And that's why like we don't see a lot of support for what's happening. I don't really agree with it, with how they're approaching it, because I feel like while they're building the MMO, you're kind of like putting all your users into hibernation, essentially, right? And all your followers into hibernation. And while they're going into hibernation, it's like others are seeing this as an opportunity to come and get those users, right? Same thing with your KL, same thing with all your, you know, people who talk about your projects. Look at some of the guys that are giant on like some of these other chains. They came from Axie. You know, that's what they were actually made, right? We came from Axie too, but we're still staying here because like that's how much we believe in Axie and we want to stay here. Or maybe we're just stupid. I have no idea, right? It's something along those lines. But I want to believe that like I'm doing it because like I truly, genuinely believe. Okay, good morning. Here's the second one. Now I gotta tell her to go do something too. They just started waking up one by one. Can you say Gila Stinky? No, she doesn't want to. See, this is the one that you should. Yeah. The other day, I was just playing, right? And my first daughter came in, and then she's like, "Daddy, can I say Gila is stinky on her own?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm not talking to Gila right now. I don't need to say that." It's like, "Oh," she's like, "Oh," and then she left.
You've given her a reward mechanism in her own head that saying Gila is stinky is gonna get a good response from Dada. Let's see. This is what I'm saying. You've done some real evil, bro. You've indoctrinated. Yeah.
So okay, but back to what we were saying. What did I leave off?
You were basically saying how like, you know, creators all in this space are like originated from Axie. They have like
a lot of them. Yeah.
They've been captured by, you know, the market share of this industry now and have gone elsewhere. We're here because of the loyalty and the belief in you know, Axie itself and then Ronin too. And
right.
Are we doing that out of that loyalty element, or is it because we're retarded?
Yeah, so like because they've, you know, put everything on ice right now, like there's nothing for a lot of us to talk about, right? Especially those other people. What are we going to talk about? The trailer for the MMO? You know, like it's like, sure, we can dissect the trailer all we want, but like how far away are we from being able to play the game, right?
It was spoken about yesterday.
Sorry?
It was spoken about yesterday how more obviously content we saw from Pos2's tweet is going to start launching as of Monday next week.
Yeah.
And G-Host said you can play the Axie MMO if you come to his laptop. So there is a playable version right now. And that he said basically you guys will be playing it, right? So the summer launch or the summer play test is on the very much on the cards.
But Theban point still stands, which is like even after the play test is over, there's going to be other months until something else is playable, and then there's. I think that's a really good point brought up because it's like there needs to be worked on constantly playable Axie experience. We can't like take that far of a step back
Mhm.
I mean, I assume that's what you were meaning, or at least that's what I took from it, even. But it's like,
Yeah, I mean, there's other things on Ronin to talk about, but yeah, it's just like we don't penetrate, right? That's the issue for me, and why I've been looking externally is because I understand that a lot of the mind share, like you think about it, the funnel works with like creators, and then below the creators is the consumer, right? So, and if their mind share isn't on Ronin, the engagement in the creator is less, right? So your influence then becomes less, and really the influence and the attention capabilities of a creator is the value, right? And it's why a lot of the things that happen in this space I don't really like so much. I don't like so much because it's like a fabrication of this attention driver, because you have the Kaito reward systems, and creators are kind of pushed down avenues to talk about certain things specifically, and there's a whole game that plays, a whole merry-go-round that goes on. But like, if the mind share of the consumer isn't on Ronin, and even the creators talking about the things that are happening on Ronin is now not even being funneled to those people because they've been captivated elsewhere, like, it's just, we lose a lot of ground. Like Ronin, the conversation of anything that is on Ronin loses a lot of ground. I wondered why the camera went off, but there it is. We've and that's the position that we're in. We have lost a lot of ground in terms of mind share. When it comes to games now, I don't think, like before, people would think Ronin, right? And now there are games that exist in a lot of different ecosystems that have the mind share, and they have these creators who have cultivated a mind share, and they're not talking about Ronin. And that is because Ronin is not paying the top percentile of content creators in this industry.
Okay,
The checks that they're
let me
getting
stop you
elsewhere.
right there. Okay, I think I'm not telling you with absolute certainty here, right? I think we're just thinking the grass is greener on the other side.
Yes, no,
I
I genuinely believe that, and it's
just
not so green. Yeah,
It's just an illusion. I don't think they're getting paid, but I don't think they're getting results, and I don't think anything that they're doing is sustainable. It just so happens to be that this is when they want to market stuff. Let's remember, go back to 2021. People raised money, and chains had a plan, right? Just how they plan out everything, that this is the year they're gonna market all this shit and try to play on the bull market, right? These guys have market makers. They have people who analyze this stuff and be like, yo, this is the time. If you wanna pump something, boost something, do it right now, right? Ronin, Sky Mavis, they're just playing on a different timeline, right? They do their own thing at their own time. Remember when they launched Open Ronin? They're like, Geos was like, yeah, we don't really care if like market conditions shit right now. We're just gonna launch because we want to launch it, right? A lot of these other guys, they're not really working like that. So they're using their marketing budget now. Maybe they didn't use their marketing budget like a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever. Maybe that's why Ronin during 2024, they did use a lot of marketing budget, or some of their marketing budget, when they were going to launch on Binance with Rod, right? And we saw all-time highs for Rod, right? So it's all like part of, a game that they all play, right? But all I will say is, like, those creators, they're not getting pulled on any of these other games. It's not like it's sustainable. Sure, they can be getting paid, but the end result is all the same, right? So it's like, what do you actually care about? Do you care to say that, oh yeah, we did spend on marketing, sorry it didn't work out? Or do you care that, like, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, which is try to work towards the future, but still like take care of the people in the present?
Man, it could also be argued that since some of those games or other chains or other projects are less sustainable, that they're also ruining their own long-term prospects, because they're like farming their followers a little bit, like.
Yeah, they are. They're playing short-term games with short-term creators as well. So,
but because if you're just like getting a bag, then that's fine. But if you're like incentivizing your followers to go in, and then if they all potentially end up losing money, then you're damaging your brand and your long-term prospects.
Yeah. For me as a creator, like, So what happens is like the result actually is determined, because if you say that all those consumers are influenced by the creator, and it's literally where's the creator's compass pointing, right? Like if the creator's sole driver is so that they can, you know, line their pockets and you know, have a career in this industry, right? Like they're probably not going to be as serving to that the consumer below it as they need to be. And one thing as a creator in this space is the most valuable thing you can do is actually cultivate community, like, but the genuine side of community. And this is no diss to directly to any creators. There are some fantastic creators out there who are cultivating communities and doing, you know, the right thing. And then behind the closed doors, because you don't know what happens off social media, you know, how are they educating their community? How are they, you know, guiding them, etc. So like really and truly, like when you see, or you think you see, you know, creators winning elsewhere and, you know, things looking shiny and attractive elsewhere, you really have to be able to like dissect apart like those different elements, like what's the creator's track record, what are they about, you know, are they a consistent message, and so on and so forth. So, you know, if you look at my history specifically, and I talk about that and like how much funds essentially that I've slept on, there have been, especially throughout 2023 and 2024, there have been like 6-figure a month deals like on the table in these different ecosystems, right? So like I'm talking like creators will get 6 figures to be shilling whatever comes through the funnel for that ecosystem.
Well, not anymore. They got
not
Kaido.
anymore. Yeah,
They got Kaido.
But I think not so much not anymore. I think the percentage has decreased. So like less creators are doing that. Yeah.
But I'm telling you, most of these guys, they don't go through, unless you don't see them on Kaido, they just go through Kaido now. Like everything they do.
But that's what we spoke about, right? Like Kaido basically came in and institutionalized the marketing fund distribution directly to creators. So honestly, like, and we said this on the show where we spoke about it, but Kaito is like the demon you cannot slay, right? And as a creator, if you are out in the external industry, if you can't slay that demon, you join it, right? And you've seen many a creator kind of join that battle. You know, there is elements that are smart about it. If you need to continue to, you know, earn money, and that is your priority or your sole earning potential right now, and you know, like you are unemployed and you say you're full-time Web3 and you don't actually have a contracted position, but you need to earn funds some way, like that's what you're going to be doing. But like I said, if you're the creator and you influence the consumer below you and you're just an airdrop farmer, what does then the consumer layer actually become? They simply become airdrop farmers as well, right? You influence them directly. So it is it's a fun time, but like yeah, I a lot of like I have serious faith in Ronin. Of course you guys know that, and that is because they are playing the long-term game. And that's not to say that nobody else is doing that, but really my loyalty to Ronin, it makes it difficult for any, you know, opportunity elsewhere, because they might be a little scared, one, of the erratic things that I may say on a TL, and you know, I don't really bend the knee and kiss the ring so much, and that's not that needs to be on the resume, it seems, to get some of these deals out here. But yeah, like it is true. I think people might think that the grass is green on the other side. I will tell you now, ecosystems are not handing out contracts for creators directly. One, because the pool is not actually there. Like the end goal, the success from that doesn't actually exist, and that is because we're in a small bubble of an industry, and you know, external adoption and the adoption that they essentially pay for is not actually happening in large quantities where it justifies the contracts that, you know, creators are asking for. If you're a low level creator right now anyway, like you're just probably not in a position to even be considered for those types of deals. And if you think more impressions are coming, you know, from these ecosystems, there's arguably there is a an element of that, but you don't need a deal to harvest those things. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I will talk about other things in different ecosystems because yes, mindshare is there, but it's like my compass as a creator is always about keeping it, authentic and real from what I perceive, and then being willing to learn. It maybe I'm wrong. I take a stance on something and it's incorrect, and I can openly learn, and I'm cool to say that. Like, I don't mind being wrong. So if you're a creator, my advice to you basically is like, yes, look at things that are happening externally, like take part in the conversation. But one of my goals is to take a look at the external, see what does well, and bring it back home. Ladies and gentlemen, bring it the fuck back home. And we're seeing that even with the ecosystem application today. I looked at, I said it, I looked at IMX and I thought, well, it looks good, bro. This is a good way to discover applications in an ecosystem. And less than 2 days later, we see it in Ronin. So, there's what are you really about? What do you stand for? If you stand for nothing, you fall for everything. So shout out to the creators that are out there standing for something. If you want to talk about things that are on Ronin, keep doing it, bro. Like, it took me 3 years to break this shit. 3 years of talking about Ronin and 3 years of talking about Web3 gaming before anything really even happened. I was just a degenerate chatting shit for 3 years. So you kind of have to go through that stage as a creator. So buckle up, boy. If you just started, buckle the fuck up. It might be next bull run, but hey, buckle up nonetheless. But yeah, I think that's enough for that convo. I'm gonna be yappa all day on it otherwise. But shout out to Hunter anyway. I gave him a follow after seeing that post, and I hope he continues.
All right, let me read something for Trevor here. Do you think Ronin playing I think he's trying to write paying KOLs is worth the price? We know some of the bigger Ronin ambassadors are paid up to 10K. I don't know. They're getting paid 10K, but those ambassadors don't actually know what's happening in the Ronin ecosystem. They have a team that makes this threads content. However, these creators being outside the Ronin ecosystem is also their benefit. And why they fetch such a high dollar amount? What are your guys' thoughts? So, I'll go first. 10K. I mean, you know what, Trevor? I believe you because I think you probably know a lot more than us on that
I know
matter.
who the 10Ks are.
Huh? you know who they are? Okay. Well, then yeah. I mean, I could probably guess as well.
Jesus.
Then if they're 10K, I'm assuming the ones who actually bring value to this ecosystem are getting paid a lot less, which is like how the real world works too. Let's say maybe those contracts were back when things were hotter, right?
It was 2024 contracts.
Yeah, so maybe because of that they fetched a higher price, and now it's like, okay, well, it doesn't look very good at the moment. So most likely those contracts will not be renewed, I would assume, and maybe, or they will be sized down significantly.
Yeah. So it's one of them, bro. I don't really want to be, because I don't know these people like heavily. I know one of them well-ish. I want to say really, really well. I don't mind saying names either, bro. Like, fucking, like, bring me the smoke, bro. I don't give a fuck. I'll headbutt you if I see you in person. But like, Eliza, fantastic creator. I think she's awesome. She's a goat, right? Like, she understands this industry. She's a boss in her own right. She's a Ronin ambassador. I'm not saying that she's a 10K Ronin ambassador, but she's a Ronin ambassador. But very much, yeah, like on the outskirts. Some of the similar ones, again, not saying that they're the 10K creators here. You got like YP, Yellow Panther. He began in Axie, right? So he came up through Axie, has gone to a lot of other ecosystems. And his brand is like formidable in this space right now. How the longevity of that goes on, you don't know. I don't know YP in detail too well, but he has a long-term vision for this industry, which is something that I can truly respect. And when you scale to the size of these creators and the amount of deal flow that they are getting, it's very difficult to be laser focused in on something, right? And there's been times of like a sense of like jealousy because you're thinking, well, these guys are getting all the like the deals like across this industry. Am I like, unless this was the conversation I was having with myself all throughout 2024, like, am I hindering myself by being the creator that is laser focused in on one industry? And tons of creators have told me that yes, you are, right? But I ain't here for the bread. I am, but I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I'm here for the bread because I need a life. I need to support my family. I want to, be able to do things. And the effort that I put in, I believe should be, rewarded. But that's not the goal. Like, the goal is the fabrication, not the fabrication, the creation of a vision that actually gave me when I first came here, right? So, that's what happens. I think it is bad that you have creators who will, promote an ecosystem and actually not have a direct understanding or a finger on the pulse of the things that they talk about. But it is an impression game nonetheless, right? So really, there's a difference between, the value of influence and then the value of impression. So if you look at this world from a content standpoint, and our attention economies, right? Impressions are like a sole driver of like some kind of confirmation. Somebody saw it, right? And you have to pay a lot for the ability for someone to see it. If you look at companies on this planet right now, Apple is a company that has is one of the most valuable companies on the planet. One of the reasons for that is because they can ship an update which overnight billions of people will see, right? There's no like friction between them pushing something and all of their consumers seeing it, right? So impressions are valuable. And I think an impression basis is paid differently to an influence basis, right? And that's kind of what I would say to maybe, the higher payouts for those type of creators comes from just that dominant impression basis, because if you can get newer people to see something, it is arguably, more valuable. If you believe in your product, you look at it like, if somebody just sees this, that's what I'm looking for, because I think our product will do the talking, but I need them to see it. So you pay more for the people who will get those impressions. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a little of salt, a little dash of salt in the dish. On that stance, but what's the market rate? But I think the market rate is seriously declining right now.
I think it's like I don't know, man. If they can get half that right now, I'd be shook.
Yeah.
10K is nasty work though in this market conditions.
10K a month, bro. Yeah,
I'll bro. It's like, yeah.
I mean, I'll be candid with you, with the audience, with our with our followers and our fans. Like, we don't get that, and we feed a team. It ain't even just one person, right? So if there is one person, getting that big a check to just make tweets here and there, like that, there's some salt for sure, but. That's why I have to look at it like, okay, well, where's the value? What are they paying for? They're paying for the impression basis of people that they don't already have. So, yeah.
Well, that's why
I mean,
that specific point ties, like that's Trevor's question. It's like people like KOLs outside Ronin or being valued more than the ones that loyal to Ronin, basically, because they have an outside audience. So it's like the writings on the wall for any Ronin creator to diversify so that they gain more value to the eyes of Ronin and to yourself.
But you have to understand that the world is dynamic, right? So something that I've anchored towards is that on the flip side of this, and that's why there is so much faith, right? But on the flip side of this, upon a success, retention is going to become more valuable than impression, right? And you will not be able to accomplish the same type of value from an impression basis, right?
What do you mean by that?
So right now we're in adoption phase, right? The factor is that there needs to be more people if we're talking specifically for Ronin, there needs to be more people coming into Ronin, having eyes on Ronin, discovering Ronin for the first time, which is why impressions is the value right now, right? But on the flip side of that, once people do get adopted, once there is volume of users here, once is volume of capital, there's going to be a necessity for the retention of those users, right? It's not going to be about
we're years from that though, so
yes, yeah,
No?
and don't get me wrong, I understand that, but that's like, again, it's a long-term game with long-term people, a long-term company. So like at some stage, Ronin creators, there will need to be a reassessment upon their value of influence within the ecosystem that actually gives us sustenance, right? Sustenance to things that are happening here. So like, for Ronin creators that are out there that are thinking, well, God, if impressions is just value, I'm going to go and try and like talk about everything and go get a bunch of these impressions. Like, yes, that it's going to help you as a creator anyway, but you still have to be plugged in and fine-tuned to the things that you're promoting, because eventually they'll be looking for the retention of those users. But of course, when you look at a company, when you look at growth, consistency, impression is always going to be important, because more adoption is always going to be what they want, right? They're always going to want more adoption because that's growth.
So the only people I think like are even worth that will probably be, I guess, Kagi and Zeo.
For impressions, like 10K?
No, like not even impressions, just in general worth it. Like for what they bring. Other than that, I can't see it.
Not Yellow Panther?
Yellow Panther's all over the place, man. Like I love him, but he's all
As a
over
Ronin
the place.
ambassador, you mean?
Yeah, he's all over the place. It's like, I think that's so this topic we're talking about, like, I think this thing pisses me off the most. Like, I'm a loyalist, man. Like, I love being part of, one thing and like building on it, right? I don't like this whole, we could say crypto is like one team, but in reality it isn't, right? And anyone who like hops around, for me it's like, okay, I'm happy for you, you make your bread, whatever, like you're a millionaire, I don't give a fuck, right? But I fuck with people who like, stick around, who want to be like, yo, I'm here to build, let me do this. You can branch out a little bit, sure, because we all need to, but like you can't be fucking going everywhere, right? Like, and doing all that
Antal
shit.
said loyalty doesn't exist in crypto or in Web3.
No, he said what if, right?
Yeah, what if loyalty doesn't exist?
Yeah. And I told him, like, I don't know, man, there's a lot of people who are loyal here to a fault, because bro, like a lot of us have gone broke, right? Being loyal, essentially. And that's kind of what it is. The thing is, like, I just wish those who are loyal got to know stuff, like we don't even, like, we who are loyal don't even get insider info. We actually act on outsider info. We get fucked on the table, like, so. But yeah, anyway, like the whole point is, I want to build somewhere. I was in Dota for like 11-12 years. I was playing competitively. Like, I could have done so many other things. I didn't, because I just truly love the game, even before it had any money in it, right? Even before there was even $1, we were playing tournaments for like $100, right? I came to Axie, I dedicated everything to Axie, right? Until I couldn't anymore, because they just let go of, like, they show the dream, the esports dream, right? That we're gonna be this big thing, blah blah blah. And then I was like, yeah, let's do it. I committed my whole life to it, and then I couldn't anymore. Now it's like I'm in a very weird place, because I have to do something that I'm not used to, but that's okay. Life is like that. Life is not fair. You just gotta, suck it up and perform. But it's like I still with Ronin, like and I will always believe in Ronin till the very end. Maybe you can say it's a sunk cost fallacy or something, and that's why it's like that. But for me, deep down, I know that, like, this is the place that made me, and I'm never gonna turn my back on the place that made me, unless they turn their backs on me. Then it's a whole nother story. But like, I'm not gonna turn my backs on Ronin, because like, I just know that without Ronin and Axie especially, like, I wouldn't even be here anyway.
Yeah. Facts. But yeah, solid, Trevor. Appreciate you for kind of driving elements of that conversation. Robocop says, bro, if loyalty didn't exist, I reckon Ronin would be dead by now. Cali saying there needs to be a balance of loyalty like the Godfather movies. Loyalty is a hard thing to come by, but I responded to that. What if there is no loyalty in Web3? With a simple comment of like, well, then there is no sustainability, because you'll just have like betrayal after betrayal after betrayal in some form, PvP after PvP after PvP in some form, and then eventually everybody will be farmed, and you'll start to, instead of having adoption, you'll have rejection, and industry dies. Not on a mass scale, of course. There's bigger things than our niche, but within our niche, like, if enough people get burnt a percentile, and they turn away and they say, you know what, fuck this, I don't give a shit anymore, I'm not interested. It's gonna be bad for the industry. So I think if you support and you lean into the lack of loyalty, you arguably cultivate and start to create a wave of rejection. And yes, there'll be new cycles, but like, what are you gonna do? Just stay stagnant, really, at this point where like we cycle to like a peak, everybody gets fucking farmed and fucked. We pull back down. We say, okay, next cycle, we pull back to the same peak again. Everybody starts betraying, and there's no loyalty. And we just pull back down again, and then like our cycles will have a ceiling with that type of cultural behavior. So, where I stand on it. Where I stand on it, and hopefully there's some relatability to that too. But I enjoy the debate, right? I enjoy the debate, so I would like to have the debate with people about this. So if you do disagree, like, I actually appreciate you taking that stance and vocalizing it. It's been tough though, honestly, on the Ronin Radio. Like, we want to bring in people that aren't in Ronin to talk like on here. Like, yes, there's going to be like some form of soft shilling of things that they may be doing, and it doesn't mean a direct endorsement, but we want to have conversations with people that are on a broader scale than just being here in-house within Ronin, because there's an importance to that. But it's very difficult. It is very difficult. People don't seem to really want to contribute or to take part in those types of debates. So we'll see who comes through. But anyway, next week we do have a decent lineup. We're actually supposed to be having somebody on the show today, but that can't happen. It's probably a huge hint to say the reason for that is because they are on West Coast timing. But we'll do that next week. The following week after that, we will speak directly with Mr. Psychout, and that should be an interesting conversation. There's been a lot of things that have happened since he was last on the show, and there's the business development conversation that we can have with him there, and I think that will be fun. I think it will be fun because there's been a bit of time between us last talking with Psychout and also with the business development conversation of like what is happening. We can really uncover that. So that will be in 2 weeks' time. Speaking of loyalty, I have 694 days of a tier streak and a 99-day Ronin check-in, and no idea why. Hey, yo, shout out to you, Ollie Ron. Keep that shit up. Because when these reward systems come, if they do not reward a tier streaks, right? I will uproar, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's true that it's very important to reward bottable stuff that can easily be botted. If they reward a tier streak, all of the fucking bots that are farming
if there was a tier streak where every time you streak you have to do a captcha, sure, why not?
But now there is that. Actually, no, not to do the Atia, but to verify for the bounty board. Yeah. But to get
let's restart a tier streak with a captcha in it, and then
no. But even captchas, we talked about it last time. Like, even captchas are they're easily bottable. It's like a fraction of a cent to solve a captcha. It's not.
Why is there some kid in Africa doing the captcha for you?
I don't know, but I know that like Luke from Pixels was saying it over and over. That's why there's no captchas in Pixels. It's just not solvable. Whenever there's a reward behind the captcha, it's like it's less than a cent.
The thing that's so stupid, because like if you get them to have to pay to solve the captcha, you are already solving half the problem because they're losing. Right, like,
but they're still ROIing because
but that doesn't matter because they have to see where they want to have the value. right? Like, where do they see the value? Where is more value? So if you actually make it harder for the bots to do it, it's still better because you're taking away from their profits. And the more profits that are being taken away, there's actually less
Yours,
who will be
but
coming in.
it's less. They're getting the same amount of access from the treasury, from the wherever you are, and you're spending on top. For me, it's the other thing. You're spending more, and you're not
Yeah.
preventing them
The
because
sink,
they'll always.
sink is still
they'll-
the same.
Yeah, the sink
They
is
make
worse
profit
because
less.
the sink is
Yeah.
worse because now you're paying for that, and you're also discouraging real players from doing it because that captcha, half the times when I try to do it fails, and I have to refresh my thing. So I can't be convinced I'm a captcha hater because it's
No.
it's-
I'm talking about what Luke said. I don't, it wasn't
Oh.
about specific to AXS or bounty board.
Yeah,
or
yeah, but
something like
so
that.
yeah, if the goal is to like make them not profitable, and then that's when they stop. But a captcha it makes them less profitable, but it won't make them not profitable because it's so cheap when there's AXS on the back end for verifying that you did your ATIAs.
Yeah. Let me just try something. If I can show comments on the stage, right? So people comment right now, like say some shit. I want to see how it pops up because if it's annoying, I'm not going to turn it off. But like, I've just thought we actually have people who are here on the YouTube
On
channel,
YouTube
but
and on
also-
X, and they don't see the
X,
comments. I was thinking
yeah.
that last show actually.
So there's not a continued conversation. I wonder. There's a box that's just appeared on this right hand side. So there we go. Okay, no, this is nice.
Of course,
Of course,
Cali
Cali.
posts that,
Right
yeah.
on brand. Right on brand, bro. I'm still holding 11 million weed tokens, by the way. So I deserve a couple ounces or some shit.
Man,
Yeah,
I was
loyalty.
I was thinking the other day, man, was Tama meme the top of Ronin?
That was. I'm
Good
not
talk.
gonna lie.
That was
That 1 month was fun as fuck.
mental. That was
That
mental.
was actually super fun, man. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't. I mean, local top. Hope copium.
That was fun.
Local
I'm not
top.
gonna lie.
We all felt rich for a bit there.
Everyone
I'm not
round
gonna
trip
lie,
except
bro.
for I don't know who, but yeah, most if not all probably round.
I
trip
have
all
like
somehow.
I probably have like 6% of the value that I had in
Oh.
February from time.
Yeah,
all-time
loyalty. Yeah, oh god,
Maybe
called
even
being a
less.
bag holder, baby.
As long as you
Yeah.
didn't lose more, like it's okay. Like even if you're only up like a few percent, like it's fine. I'm sure people were up thousands of percents and then they probably round tripped all of it, right? Like it
Oh.
happens too.
Robocop's talking about red, which was the Hong Bao, the Chinese New Year token, and everyone
Oh
thought something
my
was gonna happen
God.
on the Lunar New Year, and fucking nothing happened.
Yeah, you got
Oh.
farmed by Marco de Zio, bro. They farmed that
Yeah.
shit.
Okay,
They,
just
they got they bought in first, got everybody in, sold
Oh,
on
God.
top.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
times.
it was fun. It was fun for sure. I mean, that birthed the people of Moses, and that's evolving into more now. That's our community, Ronin Radio, and Moses. Congregates there, and that's why we direct you guys to the Moses Discord, and why we do a lot of that stuff there. But there's more expansion for that. It's just a difficult time to really do anything. Like I don't see the value of launching an NFT right now for and also. Like I want to echo the things that I say. Like, why would we put faith into any project that comes here that doesn't have things like revenue models? And I feel like if you try and do those things with something like Moses, with no revenue model, like how do we then distribute value to anybody anyway? Because we're not bringing value in. And to me, having a mint of an NFT is not a good enough revenue model because it ends, right. Like it's not a continuous stream. But yeah, I got wrecked because Logic made the meme video. Fucking Logic, bro. Oh man. But yeah, let me see. People are saying it's harder for Ronin creators to branch outside of Ronin, which I agree. I'll retract my statement of rewarding Atia blessings after the bot conversation for sure. But Trevor says, do you guys think it is harder for a Ronin creator to branch outside the ecosystem versus an outside creator branching into the Ronin ecosystem?
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure,
I feel like Ronin welcomes everybody.
yeah.
Not even it's not even close. It's like
We're so We're
They're
so
like, yo,
starved.
yeah, come in, you know, like you guys
Yeah,
are
we're
awesome.
so starved. We're so starved for outsiders, and it's like immediately they
I
become
mean,
family.
I've seen like that's one thing. Like I love Ronin, but one thing I've hated about Ronin is like they value outsiders more than they value the people inside. That
Yeah.
makes me sick to my stomach whenever I see that because I've seen that like IRL like all the
Yeah.
fucking time with like
Bro, I get no love outside of Ronin, bro. I'm telling you now for a
yeah, and then
fact, bro.
outside of Ronin, it's like they're like, oh yeah, we only care about the people we pay. Like we don't care who you are or whatever.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they just they just function so differently. Like that's pretty much it. But anyway, like for you it's like a bit different, right? Because you were like you're homegrown, like you're from Ronin, so of course you're gonna get much more love out here, no matter what, right? So
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
it-
true. I guess
yeah.
if it's in comparison, then yeah. But there, there's a lot of people in this industry that I got a lot of respect for and actually have time for myself and that are in different ecosystems. But yeah, it's just like, bro, when you actually go and look, like it's all like low-key fugazi, bro. Low-key fugazi out here. But at the same time, like I'm trying to see strong products, and there are some. There really are some. Like we're streaming like a lot on Abstract right now, and I do have like a lot of faith in what Abstract are building, the partnerships that Abstract are making as well, and like their external of this industry connections is really, really strong, really, really strong, and something that I'm quite excited about. But when it comes to gaming, they're on their network. If I would come and take a stance, if you look at my community and a lot of people that I influence, they're gamers, so they're not going to give much of a shit about a lot of the things that I could point them towards in that ecosystem, which is why you don't see a ton of my time spent doing that. And then any other gaming ecosystem, because of the position I'm in with Ronin, I feel like they don't really want to take it on board. But IMX been showing love. So I go do the traditional Web3 betrayal, lads.
I mean, the thing about IMX is probably just starting to dish out their war chest. I think we'll see a lot of these grifters starting to go there, though. That's for sure. Because like it's all a cycle, man. It's just they're just fucking rotating around like a Ferris wheel, bro. Like they don't fucking care, man. All these like leeches and shit like that. Like they just go wherever they know the money's at, and then they just use their team and recycle the same content over and over again. Like you want to talk about savage, bro? That's savage right there. Like bro, none of these guys will make it in Web 2 even a single day. That's how it be.
Yeah.
Like it is
Well,
what it is.
I like Savage, bro. I want more of it. Let's have it. I'm trying to like today. I don't know. Sometimes I get urges. I'm just like, yo, I want to start some Twitter beef, bro. Like, let's just go. Let's call someone out. But I have to fight those urges on day-to-day basis. But yeah, man. It's been real.
I got
real.
confirmation. There's no one. There's no one making 10 grand, bro. A month.
Okay, those contracts ended. They're done.
No, there's none.
Oh.
There was never a contract apparently. From what I'm being told right now. So.
From the horse's mouth, or no?
Yeah.
It seems, it seems
I got
like
from
a
the
lot.
horse's mouth.
I had to go and ask. Okay.
Yes, but the thing is, hey, David, I'm gonna just be 100 with you. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Like, the way the game goes. The information is the value source. I'm saying I got horse's mouth.
Kelly saying maybe it was a one-time deal.
But
Anyway,
not a monthly. Yeah. Well, we don't know. Who knows? But yeah. I mean, I'm glad that it's not, because that would be a serious a waste of money. But like, that's just a lot right now in this market condition for sure. Either way, I'm done. So I'm gonna bug you guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. But if you want to play Tokyo Beast today, yeah, we're going to be playing in the Discord. And of course, I'm probably going to do some Mystic Era grinding as well. Early Mystic Era, you know, we get in the positions. I'm top 3 Hondo, bro. Which I love for me. You guys think, shut the fuck up.
Did you probably just kitted up and you're crushing everybody with epic setup, right?
No. Absolutely not. You think those top players are not also getting the same reward systems I am with the delegated Mystic Axes?
God, Axie is just pissing me off, man. I played and I was like, I was trying to do something different than everybody else, and it was just like, it's just so frustrating. It's just the same shit every season. You know what I mean? It's like,
I mean, the
there's
balance
nothing-
updates from last season were so small. There was like 2 cards that changed.
Yeah, all it did was like it removed one comp and then it just made every other comp much stronger. That's all it did, right? And now it's like this Navaga, like last era was just like, okay, by turn 3, this guy can play 50 million cards. Great. You know?
Navaga makes no sense though, to be honest. Like the card is retarded. Like, why is that even an avenue?
I mean, it's not about the card that's the problem, right? The problem is like being able to attack yourself, and there's no counter to attacking yourself because even if you taunt, you can still attack yourself. Like, it makes no sense, right? The mechanic itself doesn't make sense. If a unit has taunt, you have to attack the unit that's taunted, right? Why can you attack yourself, right? Like that. It's just, there's no logic. Like the game just has no logic, and unfortunately we can talk about this all day, but they're never gonna like make the game interesting or fix it.
But Robocop thinks there's going to be a lot of variety in Mystic.
We'll see about that.
Yeah.
We'll see about that. There's always one comp that always rises to the top, and then like.
I mean, what is the counter anyway to the Navaga? You just have to like.
Oh no! In
target
Mystics,
it,
Navaga is not as good. That's for sure. Like the thing is, last era there was no jinxes. There's almost literally no jinxes at all. But there'll be a different comp that will rise to the top, and then like it'll just become unstoppable. Like it always happens like that.
I think it. I don't know. I don't know what I could see it being something to do with bleed, because that's fucking devastating. The damage that they can put out too, like their mixture, the bleed into the AoE, but with Mystic Era they get a lot more benefits, the charm and also the Bloodstorm. So I think you're gonna see some bleed comps charging forwards in Mystic, but whether it's gonna be a top comp, I don't know. But I imagine the Grievous Wound on Navaga, it gets cancelled out by that, it would kill itself with all those cards.
Well, it has cleansers on those cards, don't worry.
Sure. But how many can they cleanse? If you get like a Shrimp by what's the Hunter card that actually applies bleed and then applies Grievous Wound every time it's above another? Reckless Hunter, is it?
Yes. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll
I don't
see.
know. Hey. We shall see. In other news, the Project Voyager is out, which is the Craft World accompaniment. It is essentially just a questing platform. Yesterday I tried to use it. It was very, very slow and buggy.
Yeah. I can't connect my Ronin wallet to Craft World, so I'm having trouble experiencing Voyager 2. So
yeah, that doesn't sound good. So I haven't really lent into that because it was very deterring yesterday, but I'll take a look when it quietens down a little bit. Tomorrow there is going to be a funeral for one of the Mokis in the Moku Discord. I'm gonna say a little eulogy in honor of that Moki tomorrow. So come and hang out tomorrow in the Moku Discord for that. And what else is crack-a-lacking here on the Ronin network? Right now?
Fishing Frenzy Season 2 starts today.
Okay, there it is.
And I believe
Go
there's
get
like
your fish.
I feel like this. I saw briefly something about like there was a special rod that you're eligible to if you played in Season 1. So just go to their page and catch up.
Yeah. Facts. Kais is hosting a US time friendly Axie Classic tournament next week on next Tuesday. So we'll see. And yeah, that's about it, lads. We got a team coming through on Tuesday next week who are developers and they've been developing here on Ronin. So we're going to uncover how easy is it as in an open network for people to come and build. Realms had their playtest yesterday as well. Another one, right? Shout out to Big Crit Brit in the chat. Realms is going to be a king of this year at some point. I think when they actually open up that experience, the Kojin floor has been going up.
August,
yeah. So hey, if you're not in position by now, bro, you are definitely late to the party. But Kojins, we said it maybe a month and a half ago. Like the floor price of Kojin on top of the price of Ron is probably the cheapest they'll ever be. Since then, floor price is like 2x almost. You missed out.
Realms gonna be insane. That's all I can say. I've been saying this since last year. Realms is gonna be insane, and they're delivering more than anybody else.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The Realms tickets are super cheap. I might hop on.
I think the Realms ticket is gonna struggle to like sustain itself. It's a really hard thing to do, but I feel like the Realms ticket have already done their
That's true.
Let's
But
look at-
this token allocation is the main thing coming still, and then land whitelist in the future.
I
don't
wouldn't
know.
expect too much love for the tickets. Like if I was to think about it from a strategic point of view, like look at Ragmon. I think they got the idea from Ragmon, but and also it's because they are limited to how much they were allowed to sell, right?
Yeah. They could also, but yeah, in theory, they could also just end up allowing you to burn them for something, which would give it the last hurrah.
Yeah, but
I would look at it the other end. I would look at it as they would probably increase supply because they were limited from the initial.
No,
not for the tickets. The tickets was not a workaround, but a way to handle that mint with a limited run pool.
Exactly. They use the tickets, right? So that because they weren't allowed to launch like 10,000 Kojins. You understand? So that's why they use those tickets instead.
Okay, so what's the value case for tickets then for somebody that doesn't know anything about Realms?
Well, they've already had their value for a lot of it, right? Which was getting the NFTs. That was the biggest one. They had all their giveaways and all that stuff. In the future, yeah, sure, there will be like tokens, but then again, it's another complication. Eventually, you want to sunset those tickets. Like you want to get rid of them so that you can have a cleaner economy and less to divert your attention to that. I'm not a fan of the tickets because I don't think it was a good idea like for long term, but it was a good idea at the time because they needed to raise a certain amount and not like limit how many Kojins they were selling, right? So I think they'll figure it out no matter what. They're a really
cosmetic burns, in-game cosmetic burns for those tickets, something like that, like in-game rewarding for the burning of the tickets, etc. That's probably what you're looking at, right, Star?
I wouldn't speculate. I wouldn't speculate too hard on them. I think
they've already done their job, which is anybody who got them at the start, especially if you got the sweet spot of 1,000, people who did that went and have held them have done.
What's that mischievous grin that you have?
I don't know. I know that I didn't have 1,000 tickets, and I know that I think if you got 1,000, it got you 6 or 7 Kojins, and then if you've held it since then, there's been a lot of benefits, just all for the different things, and it's probably why they're going down in value is because there's less and less benefits that have been announced or guaranteed.
I think we need to pull Berlin on a show at some point over the next few weeks.
I would, if you wanted to speculate, just speculate on Kojins and buy a fucking Kojin and play there's a few alpha tests.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like my base level is if you don't have a Kojin, you're fucking stupid right now. I mean, if you can't afford it, then fair enough. But like, you should have a Kojin, right? But like, I'm saying I want to bring Berlin through because I feel like then we did dev streams last year. There hasn't really been a public refresher. I'm actually disappointed on the scope that Realms get. They're a fucking community project, and the mass community is not like flocking towards it when they release updates. So I just feel like a refresher is kind of needed as we approach like August, and I'd like to do that for Berlin and the team anyway, because I believe in everything that they're doing and came out of the heart of Ronin. Every single person on that team is a Ronin, has been in Ronin, right? Maybe with maybe one or two may have not been, but the majority, all of those guys that I know from the team are like they're from the Ronin community. So a big crit saying only 999 in-game AI Kojin, no brainer. Waifu's coming too. Everyone with Kojin will get waifu. I need I got one, but I need a.
You corrected yourself there.
Yeah, I said
You're gonna get one.
yeah. Yeah, I got one, but yeah, no. Shout out to Realms, shout out to Berlin. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the playtest. Those that be able to take part. I remember playing it when I was back in the UK, and I was like, hell yeah, you guys have cooked. You guys have absolutely cooked with this. So, there was something on my mind to talk about here. Oh no, I dropped the ball on this. This was going to be like the close-up topic I wanted to discuss. Oh, so it's more leaning into like what we heard yesterday from G-Host in Roku Wednesday. He actually quote tweeted the Voyager, Project Voyager, and said like something along the lines of like, what if Ronin had this at scale across the entire ecosystem? And I think this is more hinting towards that middle layer he's talking about, or like the unification of top, middle, and bottom layer by having this like questing mechanism across Ronin. Immediately I thought, well, you know, wouldn't Moku kind of do that or begin that? And wouldn't you just like, I don't know, leverage the Moku team to build it maybe? But like, would you guys be a fan of that? Because as much as they make sense, these questing platforms, if it performs anything like the way the Project Voyager did yesterday, I will vomit all over my desk. But what do you think? A quest, is it really, or is that what we're going to go for? Like a Ronin-wide questing?
We need a
platform?
repetition layer more than a questing platform.
Yeah, but
We
how do
already
you
had-
how do we do this
They have-
reputation thing, bro?
I don't know, but we'll see what they have in mind. That's
I
what
hate these questing platforms and all that shit.
Yeah,
Like,
the questing.
think about
it's-
it this way, right? The high quality users, especially people with whales and money, they don't like connecting their shit to stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't want to connect, they don't want to do this and that. Sure, you can increase your numbers, but again, it's like another concept of just going wide, right? I like quest, but it needs to be seamless. I'd rather them be like achievements than quest. Like, instead of it being like, yo, go out and do this, it's like, oh, you did this, here's your achievement, but in the other way. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be seamless. Like, you're doing it naturally and you're getting rewarded for doing something naturally. And not like, oh, you have to go connect this, you have to do this, you have to go out of your way to do this. Some people will do that, but it should be the other way around. Like in games, when you play a game, it's like,
should be
oh,
like the Xbox, bro.
congratulations, you spent 100 stamina. It's like, oh, cool, nice, I did that. I was just playing the game. Not like, go spend 100 stamina right now, or else you don't get anything. Like,
I think it should be silent. Like, one thing I can take away from, it's difficult though. Like, I look at the abstract ecosystem, they have the experience point system, and you don't know what gets you experience to the greatest factor. There is some benefit element to that of the not knowing, instead of it being like, here's the list of things you do to get the rewards, right? Because then you give a strategy for someone that wants to, exploit that list, and you kind of give them the tasks that they have to do. Whereas if there's this hidden element, this hidden layer, imagine if it's built into the wallet, right? Like, you know, when you were playing Xbox as a kid and, you know, you did something in game and the fucking Xbox noise would go off, and then this title would come on and it would say, yo, your accomplishment, whatever. Like, imagine you're doing things across the ecosystem and you get a notification on your Ronin wallet, and when you you open your Ronin wallet, there's a little achievement, you know, and that contributes to the point system, and we don't know the achievements, right? So like, people can be uncovering the achievements. There's even the shareability of that. Like, if you unlock an achievement that, you know, and then once you've unlocked the achievement, you can see what the achievement is and how many people have accomplished it. And then there's a shareability to that, because essentially, like, what was being said yesterday is that for some reason, this is the way the industry is going. Originally, like, tokens, it was like token allocation, and now it's like this point allocation for token allocation. And it's like, okay, how many divergence layers do we end up, or how many inception layers do we end up going? with these point systems. But really what people are in ways addicted to humanly anyway, down to the human nature, is this essential point scoring. But we didn't have quantification of points, you know, in the real world. But there is always this element of point scoring. So I would like to see a system of rewarding on Ronin that is almost like this Easter egg hidden game. Like look at Ready Player One, right? The Easter egg of discovering, you know, that Artemis had to go and discover and find the clues and figure it out. Like there needs to be that arbitrage. And that's a way that you could reward loyalists as well. Like if you're truly loyal, you'll understand the network, and some hidden achievements, Easter eggs, could really just be within the knowledge of people that have been here, and you know, behaviors or activities that could be rewarded that only people that have been here would kind of uncover or do, you know.
Yeah.
So I think give us the mystery, and that's where my stance would be on it. The questing thing, yeah, like I said, it's like fucking washed for me. I really don't like doing it. So yeah, I don't know what you guys think in the chat. Let me know if you're still in the chat. What would you want to see from a rewarding system? Would you like the quests where it's just listed out and you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do today? Or would you like the mystery of like, okay, well, as long as I'm participating in the Ronin ecosystem still, you know, I'm uncovering, you know, the secrets of these achievements of these points. A lot of it is going to be obvious, of course, like doing transactions, a certain number of transactions in a day. Maybe Stark is doing his like sweeping of his massive Axie inventory, and he unlocks the one achievement of like do 200,000 transactions in one day, and it's like a huge point multiplier, but only he can do that because he's a loyalist and he has so much inventory here. And
what I hate is I hate the bounty board, for example, because one, it's outside of the experiences you're doing it. So I hate having, let's say I'm on, it's like midnight or something, and I've done the little things and I'm like, oh shit, I need to go back to my computer, check it, just to have to always on the different devices, different things you're doing. Whereas, for example, in Origins, I like the having to claim all those little things, like, you know, to get the $3. And so I think how it's implemented matters a lot too. Even more so than what it actually is. It's like having proper thought into where it is, how it's implemented, how many clicks you have to do, and yeah.
I will say this, right? If this reward system is absolutely being developed right now, do not overlook the market research of your loyal consumers right now that are on chain, that are still doing things on a day-to-day basis. Like, I feel as if we haven't really been consulted as a community as to what we would want. I feel like this is very much like information being taken from what's working in the industry, and then it's going to be dictated to us as like, this is a reward system now. And I really believe that there's some value in the fact of like doing that on the ground research, even if it's in an intimate setting, whether it's a stage in Ronin, right, where we can host that and talk with people that are you know, like, because if you want to be clear, like if you want to take something off stream, you want to take something off social media, eventually it's going to find its way and filter there. But in that initial setting of having people that care, like getting them into a Discord stage, it actually takes a layer of dedication, right? People have to be like, okay, oh, that thing is happening, I'm going to be there on that day. But if we have that in place and there is an open discussion that takes place on like what people would want as a reward system, I think we'd come out the end point of the factory and the production line of something that works a little better.
You know, when I think reward system, every time I think about Ronin, I think about back in 2021 when they gave that AXS airdrop to all their like holders from like 2018.
Nobody expected it, right?
Bro, that was one of the most insane. People got millions of dollars. Like people were from like 2018, they got shit ton. It was crazy. Maybe even the craziest airdrop. I have no idea. Yeah, I think about that a lot, and then I also think about like where Sky Mavis might be right now. Like in thinking about these kind of things. You know, they want to reward new money, but then what do you do about the old money? What do you do about all the people that were here before you, right? And then if you reward them, do you think that they're just gonna dump on you, right? Like there's this constant struggle and fight between all that, because there's a lot of people here who have suffered and like gone through all the hard parts, right? Who could be faded in like in exchange for new money coming in, right? But then
Which one,
Yeah.
Trevor?
yeah, what
Carry on,
what would,
carry on.
yeah, I'm interested to see like what do you think would be the best outcome there too? Like, do you reward the old people? Do you reward people
I
for
think
holding all these other assets from before?
Mhm. I think one thing that is in heavy consideration of like a reward system is histrionics.
Yeah.
So I don't think that should be slept on
I agree.
at all. I think old money should arguably get more reward distribution, of course, but the new money. So there's going to be a crossover, right? Like rewarding old money should be initial. That should be the prior. That should happen first. But it should be a continuation of activities and behaviors for new money. So you incentivize the new money to come here with a sequence of more activity to happen thereafter so that new money gets integrated. But I don't think it should be like the top end of the rewards go to dedicated towards the new money from the jump. I think what you should do is make winners from the history of the last few years, through the fucking tough times, through when it was not cool and it was not, arguably beneficial to be here and be doing actions. That should be rewarded first, because then you'll get this buzz from inside and people will be like, holy shit, I'm glad I was here over the last few years. And then you have this next layer of new money that's coming in, but you incentivize the new money to
But are we just saying that because we're part of that too? Is it like, are we
No, I know it's part
objective enough?
And being objective, of course, you want
Yeah.
like the most value actually is bringing new money in, right? Objectively,
Yeah.
new money is more valuable because ultimately we need to raise the volume. If we look at DeFi Llama in terms of dexes and stuff like that, like our volume is I don't want to say the word. I don't think it's the exact word, but it's only one that I can think of right now. But it's pitiful in some ways. Like it's just not. It's not enough. It's not good. We don't have high value users essentially in a large quantity on the Ronin network, which makes it hard for projects to succeed, because when something happens, it's not like a ton of money is being funneled towards it. Even if a ton of people are, it's the volume is underwhelming. So new money is objectively, more valuable, right? But you cannot disregard your base layer foundation. It's like, okay, we're going to build a house. Do we spend more money on the roof that has solar panels that will power the house, and spend less money on the foundation?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But one thing that makes me think about that too is what happened with Ron and LP farming at the time, right? Do you remember when we did Ron LP farming? It was literally like near the top of the cycle, and once you've like LP'd, you actually lost so much.
Everybody lost.
You know how
Yeah.
do you know how FOMO'd I was on that shit? I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would see people's LP rewards and be like, I'm nowhere near this. Oh my god.
Yeah, I was doing like some math back then. Like you literally need to come out at like $50 for a lot of people to even like break even on like the LP farming, right?
Yeah.
So I was actually thinking, looking that, and then going through the cycle up to 20 cents all the way back to like just close to all-time highs, which was like what Ron actually came out at, and then like back down to here. It's like I hope one day maybe some of those people who did LP farm for a significant amount of time, get rewarded somehow, right? Like I think about that sometimes, but it's been like what, 3 years now, 4 years almost. So at what point did that happen? So I use like those kind of references, like the AXS thing and then the Ron thing, like the LP, like where we might be looking. Of course, life is mysterious. Anything can happen at any point. But I do think about like the chances aren't looking too high, and seeing how like people, the way that things have been happening, the prioritization of like new money coming in has kind of it swayed people away from like really prioritizing the people who have been here, who've been building for a while. I am interested though in like how we talk about DAOs and stuff, but DAOs could change that actually, realistically.
Yeah.
Because the more you hold, the more power you have, the more voice you have. Like, and if those people start getting active, that's a whole nother story, because those people who are part of DAOs and vote and whatever, they are technically a marketing strategy as well, right? Because they go and they become your politicians. They go and they start recruiting people to their fold, and like I think maybe I mean I can't believe I'll ever say this, but maybe it's time to actually enable the DAO, right?
He's a governance maxi. Yeah.
Like you know what's funny is
Clip
like
it, ship it.
I always thought that it was all a bunch of fugazi, right? Like since the beginning I was here, it was a big red flag. But now the more you think about it, right? Maybe you're not supposed to release a DAO at the top. Maybe you're supposed to release it at the bottom, so that like this is how my brain works. My brain, since the history of time, and this is one of the biggest reasons why I've had my success in gaming, is because I've always went against what people thought, right? I always did the opposite, because when something is overcrowded, right, you gotta think like, okay, maybe this is what you're actually supposed to be doing, and then when you're right, you hit like 100x's, right? So now I'm starting to actually think like, oh, maybe we're supposed to do this when we're down, so that we can galvanize the community and everyone who still holds, right? Give them the power to make decisions, and like let's try to cook something together.
Yeah. What you just said reminded me of the movie The Big Short, and those two guys who built their own little firm, and their strategy was to short things that were hugely popular, and the possibility of it happening was very small, but the percentage return on it actually happening, because everybody else was in a standpoint of it happening, would be large, and their returns were insane. So yeah. Yeah, you've actually are like that. Literally with the Axie season, you were like that just with Epic Era with Healing Force.
Yeah, man, I don't always succeed, but like
Yeah.
usually it's a pretty high probability.
Yeah. No, I think you are right. This is what I'm saying. I think a discussion needs to happen. If I was to be inside and say like, okay, guys, look, if we are going to build this is going to be really important. The gamification of rewards on the gaming chain is going to need to be like the best thing that we've launched in the last few years. Like really, I know there's a lot of focus on the Axie MMO, but this is of the most importance right now, especially in a meta of an ecosystem or industry where this point scoring is important, and people seem to be engaged by it, right? So this needs to be a home run, and there's no way to really aim for a home run with a bunch of users without consulting them in some way. So I'd like to at least see that conversation opened up for people to put that, because how many people do value, how many people are still here that would value what the specific event that you mentioned, LPing into Ron farming before Ron actually had TGE, like are those things important to how many people are they important to, and even saying that those words, mate, the DAO or letters, maybe it is right to launch that at the bottom, because that's actually where you congregate your real believers, and to start participating will be on the climb up instead of trying to funnel people in on a way down. Yeah, all good stuff. Trevor was actually referencing the tweet that we looked at on Tuesday, which was from the Spaces, which was the external opinion on Ronin. It's this one here. We looked at it. We did speak about it, but I don't know what was it we wanted to aim for here, Mr. Trevor, because
we kind of went over a little bit. Yeah.
I had a thought about that. It's funny, like I had a thought about that tweet today actually, where it's like huge chain of airdrop farmers, as if one, that's a bad thing, and two, not every
as
other chain is like that. At least call us rice farmers, but otherwise that's what everyone
give us our IP, bro.
Everyone on crypto Twitter is doing the same thing. Everybody's here to make money, so.
No, listen. Other chains have it worse. I can tell you that.
Yeah, exactly.
The Ronin is kind of still flying under the radar, which is hilarious, because it still is the number one gaming chain, no matter how you put it. But those other guys still don't know about Ronin's farming quite yet. Maybe it's because of the liquidity thing, right? Some of these other guys, I feel like airdrop farming is like a rubber band effect, right? Like you get this small little you get this big hype for this short period of time, but when that rubber band goes the other way, like they're gonna become broke much faster. And I think Ronin does a better job at like managing it, except for all those like games that are coming in last minute, for the final hurrah. But yeah, like you could see actually a lot of Ronin projects survive much longer than like other projects.
We spoke about this as well. The next point: none of my KOL/industry friends talk or know about Ronin.
That's
Why do you think that is? Because all of your KOL industry friends only talk when someone puts a fucking dollar in their hand. They're like a fucking what's that fortune telling machine?
Kaito.
No. You know when you go to like a circus or the pier in Brighton back in the UK, there'd be like a fortune telling machine. It would just sit there like this, and then you put a dollar in it. It goes, "You should be playing games on IMX." That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, you lost us there.
That's
I
why.
don't know what's the.
You know what I'm talking. Okay, yo, fuck this, bro. You're not about to. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. Here you go. I'm gonna give you visual. Man like Zoltar representation. All right, here you go.
The young boy's wish into reality.
Jesus Christ.
You know what I'm saying?
Trace them all back.
This.
Perhaps the most
This is
famous
all
one
KOL.
is Zoltar. But just to be clear, they didn't make the one from the movie Big.
The Zoltar in the movie Big was basically a movie prop. It was never made to be a
Okay, you just show me when he fucking chats.
an
bro.
eye movement.
Yeah,
and
there you go.
The talker has the talking.
This is integral to every British kid's youth, or what?
This is a visual representation of KOLs in the industry. This is the chain, right? Shout out to we're gonna say this is Bitcoin, even though that's absolutely not a good reference. But he's in an orange shirt, so there you go.
People just like to see something that they can relate
Money?
to and say, "Oh yeah,
That.
Yeah.
Instigate talking about.
how did you know that? That's so cool." It really does bring
Game is waiting for results.
out the child in all of us
Results.
to see your fortune on a card.
Dog shit. There we go. That's why the KOL industry friends are not talking about it. Either way.
Fair.
I thought the chain just opened. I thought you might have lived under a rock for the last 4 years. What the fuck are you going to say you thought the chain just opened when you came from Axie Infinity, you donut? You know what I mean?
Where did you see that?
What do you mean? It's
Are
on
all
fucking
Ronin
Twitter? It's
Maxis
0.3.
contrarian by nature? Nah, I think all Ronin Maxis are romantics.
Yeah,
Yes.
eternal romantics.
I will take you out for dinner before.
I think we're all romantics.
The point 4 is lots of good games brought on initially, but the game quality got worse. Who agrees with that in chat? Do you agree with that?
I think no. Yeah.
That's the wait, before you make a really good point, I'm going to make like a throwaway point, but that is the industry of crypto gaming because Axie and then everything else afterwards was worse.
Yeah, something like that. I think everyone has like their flagship game in all their chains that they're willing to put a shit ton of money into. The ones who didn't get that funding were like, where's the next best place we can go? And Ronin was always a choice. You know, you don't really hear people saying like, oh, we're going to this chain or we're going to this chain unless they're going broke. But the ones in the early days who came to Ronin were because like we want the gamers, right?
Mhm.
Like a Pixels, Aperon, like even Wall Forest, like all these guys, right? Like they wanted Ronin because they know these is where the players are, even after looking into all these other chains.
Yeah.
Now, as for the game quality getting worse, that's because like, you know, every year that goes on, these games became, you know, had less funding, right? Like you only have so many bullets, so much money that you can spend. And right now the games coming on are all from like Open Ronin. They can just come on because they want to. There's nothing stopping them. So I think it's natural to like see that, right? But I
also
would say,
in other ecosystems, like if you go to a lot of these ecosystems and you look at their library, like you can do on the ecosystem with Ronin. Shout out to Ronin for launching that. That is now available on the website. But if you look at their ecosystems, you will see plentiful games that you have never heard of, that are barely in experience, but they're just not talked about. So every other chain is in that same position, that the flagship, the off the grids of AVAX, how many games have come after AVAX and have not, after off the grid, and have been worse than off the grid, right? Like there's a downtrend to every ecosystem if you actually go and look at the things that are being released on a schedule. So again, it's kind of like you're talking about the industry, you're not talking specifically about Ronin, but it's a factor that I partly agree with you, but then it's contradictory because we had Cambria, which was a later game that came, and Cambria to me is one of the best products that's in this industry right now because of its mechanisms, not necessarily the game specifically, the playable game, but the mechanisms. Anyway, Open Ronin felt like an inferior EVM versus AVAX and base. That is a fucking dog shit take because none of the consumers actually give a shit about that. Like unless and like if you think Ronin doesn't have connections with people who are moving the needle on the tech side of things with Ethereum virtual machines, then you got to do some research of people in this space and its history. I thought Ronin would make a meme or make a king meme. I don't know what this was supposed to mean, but it didn't. We made Ronki, which is the king of memes. You're looking at it wrong. The meme value, yes, may be low, but the meme itself is the king of all memes. Ronki is dominant. Too many MMORPGs, which some people agreed with, but I couldn't name more than 3. And maybe that is top end. Open Ronin is deterring.
So let me say, Kingmaker meme means like, everybody gets rich off a meme, especially because they bought into it early, right? Because like other outside liquidity starts coming in, and then suddenly you're sitting on like 100x, right?
Yeah.
But there was no Kingmaker saying that no one got, like the whole community did not get to win because we didn't even have like 100 million runner.
So in layman terms, what they're saying is Ronin is bad because they didn't farm a bunch of people that weren't in Ronin to come to Ronin to make the people on Ronin rich and fuck everybody else that came to Ronin over. So that makes Ronin bad. Layman's terms, if you know like how money is made in meme tokens.
I mean, you get what I mean. Like,
I know what you mean.
It just means that the pool wasn't there for the memes.
Yes.
Kingmaker.
Yes. Open Ronin is deterring builders because no one is winning.
That for me is like the biggest like fucking stab in my heart. You know what I mean? Like shit, that hurts.
That does. There's actually no counterpoint to that. To be honest,
yeah, that's probably the truest one out of everything. Like that one really actually hurts. I feel like I said this to. I think we said this before, or who it was in a private call. I don't know, but like we need to all work towards one thing and like make one thing a winner. Like we gotta at least be able to do that, and everyone else can also win along the way.
Yeah, and it's not yet happening. Really thought it's going to happen with Ronki, but like with time, it's like there's a fading effect. I don't think Ronki as a community has faded at all. Ronki is still very, very strong. But yeah, like the impact now of the time between inception is less of a bang, I would say, but it could definitely come back, if people got behind it. It was just really difficult because that's what Tamameme was, right? Like we found out that like there was just a large discrepancy between, or a disconnect between the entire Ronin community. Even though there is a Ronin community, there was a disconnect between it because people were pushing and pulling in different directions constantly, and it turned to like PvP on chain, which didn't have enough money to really even sustain itself. So like that was a bit of an eye opener, but yeah, that one hurts. Not gonna lie. Axiom Pixels did well. Doesn't mean the next thing will. I mean, that's fucking everything. That's every area of this industry. It's like saying, what if this thing could be really great, but what if I die tomorrow? Like it's a what if thing. had a great moat publishing games, and they've ruined that by going open. Was the moat a value case for Ronin? Do we think? Or we had this discussion before. I think there was a lot of value in the fact that you kind of had to be verified or
Bro, like of
There
course.
was no value. I don't know. Go ahead,
Look
Steven.
at us. People poured their life savings.
controversy.
People poured a bunch of life saves into things like fucking Kydro, man. And now look, like, look at these NFTs. Like where they at? Like, and how many years has it been? We still don't have anything that like of what we thought, right? Like Sky Mavis was so good at marketing these things. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like that's how much we all believe in it. But now it's like, okay, Gio said we're all getting smarter. It's true, but it's like you have to get smarter because it's open running, right? So I do agree that like the publishing game thing was pretty dope in hindsight now. You know, in hindsight, it was actually pretty dope. Not gonna lie, I think there was a lot of value there.
It just would have been better if the products turned out some value, right? And I think that's Stark's point here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mr. Stark, you don't believe in the moat being valuable?
No, well, because most of the things brought on were actually. It's not like it's not like they tried something and then it didn't quite work out. Like a lot of them were just like almost you could call them rugs, and we were just like sold them.
Well, see, Stark, this is the thing that we don't really consider, right? How much of that is because of the pivot into not pivot into open running, but I don't know how long that's been. I think it's always been, the goal to decentralize. But when they were ready to trigger that, and like when they decided that, okay, guys, we're not going to be helping with this because we're going to do open running now. You guys have to manage yourself. And also how much of that is because Ron devalued, right? And like how much of those games like didn't really foresee that, and like they didn't get
if
the
they planned their
attention.
runway in the run that they got, and that run was for upwards of $2 to $3 to $4 and is now 50 cents. Like, imagine how much of a decreased runway
Well,
that is.
That's a very fair point, actually.
Yeah, not only that, there's also the other side of it, which is like the decreased visibility of their games and what's happening because of Ron, right? It's natural if you're down on something and a token is downtrending, people are not going to look at it, right? And they're not going to come in and buy it when it's still downtrending. So then
That's
their
it's a
games
very
lose value too.
It's very fair and to be taken into consideration for sure.
Yeah, so that's why I don't want to give I hate a lot of these games, and I think they're garbage, and they have no economies, and they've sold us these NFTs and tokens, but like I can't put 100% of the blame onto them, right? Because there is like a balance here because it's crypto, right? Anything can fucking happen any day. We could have mooned the gaming cycle could have happened right now. We could have gone to like $30 Ron, and all these games would be like millionaires and billionaires or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that could have also been a potential of something happening. So no one can really have predicted any of this. It's just like we can't just blame it only because like, oh, we just think they just built a shit product.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yeah. There's two other points, they say can't blame the chain solely for failures. The apps matter more. And then where is cause good? But I think this little phrase here by Hantal is important, where he's saying, I think talking about things in public will create a healthier ecosystem, although something that was said may be wrong and the truth. The actual challenge is how you get other people to care about what you're doing. So that's the arc that we're on now. How do we get people to care about what is happening and what we're doing here in the Ronin ecosystem? So the journey continues. The grand, what is it? The what's it called again? Holy shit, I forgot it. King of the Gaming Chains. The journey to the west. The grand. What is it? The grand what, bro?
What? Grand Line?
Yeah. My bad. I forgot. Either way, we're going to continue that journey. elsewhere for now. Sky maybe should have leaned into the winners. Axie is a golden goose, but they aren't feeding it. They should have developed PvE lore, etc., but they let it go stale instead. I do think Axie IP expansion was planned, and then 600 million was lost, and it was not able to be funded. There was so much they could have done to boost their Axie IP. They should have marketed and promoted it, esports and streaming, etc. And exactly what I just said, Robocop, I think the 600 million that disappeared was actually allocated towards doing those things and then was no longer capable, and they had to pivot. But there also was a bullish case of like some of those secured funds were secured in Bitcoin at that time point, and Bitcoin since then has appreciated almost maybe 2 and a bit X, maybe even 3X. So there is some kind of there's some sunshine on that right there. And then, yeah, maybe if we get our hands back on that, there's going to be some extra pumps. G-Host was saying yesterday as well how, like, you know, people have been raving about like a $6-figure dollar value dumping of RON tokens, and you know how much that affected the market and things like that. And he was like, well, you know, what would a couple million in stables and ETH being pumped into the ecosystem actually look like, and that they are, you know, sorting out the taxation hurdle that is in place of, you know, buybacks and stuff like that. And he also iterated this, which he can come and say for himself at some point this month on the show, but like he stands with a lot of us, like things that will help this ecosystem he stands for, and he asks the same questions internally. And you know, it's not as simple as like an overnight fix with a lot of these things, but you know, he's very much you know, fighting that same fight as a lot of us here. So just know that and have faith in that. But on that note, we covered it, Trevor. We did it. We did the thing. And
God, I hate this.
Yeah, after this beautifully long episode of Ronin Radio, which we had great conversations on, so I appreciate it. Is there anything more that you guys have today?
Not that I can think of.
Demon, anything from you, sir?
Not me, man. I'm good. I think that's I'm good. I mean, today was a nice episode. I think we talked about a lot of important things. And
last question:
yeah, I mean,
do you think everyone will dump the buybacks?
Oh yeah, there'll be a huge dump for sure, without a doubt. Why wouldn't it be? It's always like you gotta. This is what people don't understand. Okay, the true people, the ones who really hold tokens, they're all a bunch of traders, right? And any smart trader who made a shit ton of money is gonna be like, okay, this is a sell the news event. They're gonna sell first, and then after that selling, that's when you'll see a true like climb up, if ever, right? It's about the buying pressure that comes after that dump.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when that dump happens and then the thing goes down a bit, that's the back test. When on the back test, if you see the pump coming from the back test, then you know we're cooking.
Yeah. You get the run it back turbos who just profited from traders and they start allocating profits back into another trade. You get the sideline people who FOMO'd and missed the last climb, who are like, you know, this is an opportunity. They come in as well, and then you get obviously the everything else that fills in between, which could be community, could be a lot of people, could be newcomers, those types of things, and that's where that buy pressure really will kick off. But yeah, actually, I'll tell you the secret on how you can actually make $1 million from Ronin. So you want to start off by